Just keep talking up there then.
All right, testing audio as well. Live feed.
Sound good. Thank you, sir.
Right behind them. And we'll just come up.
Oh, you have a comment? With the quantum signal structure.
guys are ready, we'll get started.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Suleiman Adhan, Suleiman. Last name Adhan, Adan. I'm the Deputy Executive Director here at CAIR, Minnesota. Thank you so much for joining us here today. We are standing together today because our community is living through a moment where I wouldn't even say it's 4 days in. It seems like forever. Myself and my team and those behind me have been inundated with calls, long nights, early mornings, parents afraid to take their kids to school. My own high school that I graduated from telling us that their own students are afraid to jump on the train from Roosevelt High School. When will enough be enough? But one thing that has been for certain is that Minnesotans have come out in droves for support. And behind us today, we have some of a subsets of those that are from the legislative body and from city and local government, and those that are on the ground as organizers, community leaders, imams, and others to speak to this today. The first person we have speaking here today is Jaylani Hussein, the Executive Director of CAIR Minnesota.
Jaylani Hussein, Jaylanihussein, Executive Director for the Council of American Islamic Relations, CAIR Minnesota. Today we want to announce some initiatives that we are asking Minnesotans and others to get involved in an effort to respond to not only the attacks from the president, but what's been also happening on social media. This past week has been extremely challenging, not only to Somali Americans, not to other immigrants here in Minnesota and across the country, but particularly the Minnesota community, the larger Minnesota community. We've had a president call our community derogatory terms, and in this moment, we have a choice, and that choice is to respond boldly, bravely, and consistently. And in this moment, we believe that love is going to win, not hate. And we are asking our beloved community here in Minnesota to join us in these initiatives and more. First and foremost, we know that there's interest to learn, to celebrate the Somali American experience as part and parcel of the many immigrant communities who have come to this country, whether through planes or boats, through Ellis Island or airports, that have found their way into this land, made it a home, and brought their culture to this country. It is the Italian young child who was afraid to share his pizza that today we do not recognize the pizza as an Italian thing. We recognize it as an Italian-American idea. In fact, it is so American that most people forgot the idea that it's an Italian cuisine that every single American today tastes, touches, and enjoys. The fact of the matter is, we Somali Americans have many incredible culture that we are infusing every single day into this great country and this great state. One of the delights that many people know about us is our sambuse, which you will hear about for those who don't know, but it will cure your hateness. May not cure your hateness, but it'll make you think twice about hating people who make such incredible food. And for that, today we are announcing a nationwide call for Somali Heritage Month, a month that this entire country can celebrate, remember not only the impact that Somali American and immigrants have done across this country, some who every single day work in turkey plants, poultry plants across this country. Most of you have eaten the food that Somali Americans have prepared for the past 30 years that you do not even realize. Those who worked hard every single day in those difficult jobs at factories across this country just to give their children a slice of the American dream. So while we determine this month, we believe will be June because it celebrates the history of Somalia and its birth after the civil war, after the colonial colonization and the birth of the Somali state. So we would ask cities, counties, and the state of Minnesota and states across this country to proclaim June to be Somali Heritage Month, where school children, businesses, and others alike can remind and share the beauty of this incredible culture. Many of us who are not Irish know about St. Patrick's Day, know about the incredible days in this country that we remember different cultures as well, and we hope this to be that. In addition to that, we are calling today, which we have already seen some, but statements of support, statements of love, statements that declare that Somali Americans not only are here today, but will be here in the future. Statements of what Somali Americans mean, not only to this great state of Minnesota, but to your company, to your organization, and most importantly, to this country. In this moment, as one person makes a statement against this community, we together can make statements that are much louder, much bolder, and can tell the story a lot more different. So if you have a school, a church, an organization, a business, whatever entity that you have, do that. Share a statement, and we look forward to this week coming that communities can come together and craft statements that are true, that share the different glimpses of the Somali American community, but also the broader immigrant community that is also impacted in this moment. As we head to this weekend, we are also asking faith leaders to remind their congregation. In this moment, we pray for our nation. We pray even for our politicians. We pray for each other in order that in this moment, likeness wins and hate loses. We are asking for churches, mosques, and synagogues, and people of other faith to use this time as we head to an important holiday part of the year where we come together as families and we think about our communities and we begin to think about a new year and a new beginning. We are also asking in this moment, as already has happened, we are asking for your neighbor to check into your Somali neighbor, your Somali colleague, your Somali friend, your Somali doctor, teacher, those who are impacted in this moment, to check in with them, to see what they need, to let them know that you are here for them. Because in this moment, it is this type of hate that will lead to incredible bondship and relationship and love. People who may have smiled can now have a conversation, a cup of tea, and actually be bonded together. And we are looking forward to that happening not only this weekend, but throughout. We're also asking for people to plan for a day of action on Saturday, December 13th, not only here in Minnesota, not in different parts of the state, but also across the country. A day where they can share their love and support for the Somali American community and other immigrant communities as well. In this moment, we are not going to retreat. We're going to lean in. We're also asking for everybody, especially now. Our conversations have left sometimes the hallways and in areas, and our conversations have now become into social media. And we're asking in this space as well to share your love, your support for the Somali American community and other immigrant communities as well. This is not a time to be silent. This is a time to be bold and to speak up. And we are asking for people to support the Somali businesses. We know many of them are affected. Look in your neighborhood. Find that business, that restaurant, that salon, that grocery store, that other business that is in your neighborhood, in your community. Reach out to them. Visit them. Be bold there to say, we are with you. We are here to support you. We stand with you. We know that ICE is using these important junctions of our community as a place where they weaponize their activity against lawful U.S. residents and U.S. citizens. As we know, majority of Somalis are citizens of this country. And finally, we need long-term commitment. We are looking for businesses and organizations in this moment to say what bold idea, initiative that they can support, not only to protect, honor, respect, and support the Somali American community, but all immigrant communities. We've heard from the President. We've heard from some of our community members. This is the time we hear from our neighbors and friends and colleagues. And I'll tell you personally, I have met a number of people just this morning and others who would privately come to me and say, I am sorry. I stand with you. I want to let you know that. This is who we are. This is a place, especially here in Minnesota, that is cold right now. But it's a place that has incredible people. People who say, oops, before we do something else. We have people here who have warm hearts in this cold environment. And in this moment, Minnesotans, we are on the clock. We need to stand up. We need to speak up. And we need to share a glimpse of the great experience that has happened here for the last 30 years, where Somali American children today find this place, this land, with 10,000 lakes and more as home. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jelani. The rest of the speakers that you'll hear today are going to kind of expound on what Jelani was saying, on those 4 points, on the asks, the day of action, the robust support that not only we as an organization need, but we as a community need as well. The next speaker that we have is the Executive Director of AIDA Leads.
Good afternoon. My name is Habon Abdulle, H-A-B-O-N, last name A-B-D-U-L-L-E. I am the Executive Director of AIDA Leads, an organization dedicated to advance and protect the well-being and leadership of African diaspora community here in Minnesota. Our work is rooted in the belief that when our community is supported, our entire state grows stronger. We are living through a defining moment in our country, one where we must decide whether we truly uphold the ideals we claim. This is a time that calls on all of us to affirm that immigrants are not only contributors, but an essential part of the fabric of our state and our nation. I'm proud to stand with my community, all immigrant community. That is who my community is. My community is also Minnesotan. My community is the people who live here in Minneapolis. I'm a proud Somali Minnesotan. Now more than ever, we need leaders who will stand up and stand strong, who are willing to call out harmful rhetoric and call our community back into compassion and care. AIDA Leads, alongside our partners and neighborhood, is proud to support the establishment of Somali Heritage Month. This recognition honors the culture, the richness of our culture, and provides an addition to the culture that we found already here in Minnesota. Together, we can shape a future rooted in belonging and shared purpose. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Habon. Next, it's my pleasure to invite Imam Hassan Jam.
I'm Imam Hassan Jama, Hassan, Jama Jama, Imam of Al-Hikmah Islamic Center in Minneapolis. Unapologetically, I want to say I'm American, I'm a Somali American, I'm a Minnesotan, and no apology. And I'm brave to call Minnesota home, where I spend most of my life. I want to thank everyone who stand what America is, which is land of opportunity and a place you can dress the way you want, you can worship who you want, and you can talk what you believe. Maybe someone says, as a Somali community in America, we did not assimilate or integrate it. But tell me, when we have here in Minnesota more than 500 nurses, doctors, lawyers, teachers, elected officials, from Congress to the neighborhood associations, business people, what assimilation are you looking for? We must also recognize our President Donald Trump is attempting to distract Americans from real issues, including his rapidly failing approval rating by targeting and blaming vulnerable communities. This kind of political rhetoric is not new in America, in American history, and it does nothing to solve real problem facing our nation. What we are witnessing today as a Somali American echoes the painful experiences that many communities face in the past. Irish community, African American, Italian, Jewish, and others who were unfairly targeted, yet preserved and become pillars of American society. Today, the Somali American community, together with all Minnesotans, stands united with resilience, dignity, and unwavering commitment to our shared values. We will not be divided. We will not be intimidated. We will not continue to stand for fairness. We will continue to stand for fairness, justice, and true spirit to America. We must also remember that the mistakes of a few individuals can never be used to generalize or stereotype an entire community. We have a justice system and law enforcement in place, and we must allow them to do their job against anyone who commits a crime, regardless of their background or identity. More than 90% of Somali Americans in Minnesota are hardworking, reasonable, and deeply committed to contributing to the prosperity of our state and our country. Maybe you ask yourself, we did not answer and comment the rhetoric and false allegation towards our community last couple of years, when some appointed officers and elected officials politically targeted our community to gain a political position. We were busy to help our family. Average job of Somali American in Minnesota between 8 to 14 hours a day. We are a hardworking community, and we don't have time, like any other American, to come during the day and stop what we are doing and to come 3 p.m. to the city hall and define who we are. Almost 60% of Somali Americans in Minnesota born and raised here. And as we're speaking right now, as Minnesota is thriving economically, our community are prosper and thriving. Our second generation have a good paying jobs, and we start last 10 years to become homeowners, to chase American dreams. This is who we are. We are standing together, we are organizing ourselves, and we don't let anyone to demonize and to humiliate. We want to ask, and I want to see our elected officials. We heard our governor, Minneapolis mayor, St. Paul mayor, and others spoke already. Bravely, I'm watching other elected officials. If they are not complicit with the racism comes from Washington, I want to hear from them if they care about Minnesota and Minnesota communities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Imam Hassan Jama. Next up, we have Qasim Basuri.
My name is Qasim Basuri, Kassim, Basuri, Busuri. I'm a former appointed City Council member of City of St. Paul, Ward 6, and also the Executive Director of Minnesota Dawah Institute. Thanks to all the brothers and sisters who came to support our community. And I also want to thank the local politicians who have supported our community and continue to support our community. President Donald Trump attacked and verbally attacked Americans yesterday and the day before, and he continues to verbally attack Americans. We demand he apologize publicly, and we demand Congress and the Senate to make sure he apologized directly to the Americans that he assaulted with his disgusting words against the Somali community. And every community that he attacks, there needs to be a check of power. So we demand President Donald Trump to apologize to the community. And he didn't attack foreign entity. He didn't attack a foreign country. He attacked American. An attack on one American is an attack on all Americans. Again, we ask Donald Trump to apologize. Thank you.
Thank you, Qasim. We definitely share that sentiment. Next, we have Pastor Anthony.
My name is Pastor Anthony Galloway, Anthony Galloway. I'm the pastor of Wayman AME Church in North Minneapolis, and I'm here to speak and appeal to all of our faith communities to use your time and energy to pray, to cover this community and all of our communities whenever we have rhetoric like this. As a member of the African Methodist Episcopal Church, we know all too well what divisive rhetoric can stir up in this country. When Dylan Roof walked into one of our churches in South Carolina and perpetrated that violence. We know what that looks like here in the state of Minnesota, that stirring up this hateful rhetoric has led to not only the vandalism of several mosques, but of course the bombing of the mosque in Bloomington. So we need to stand together in solidarity and be able to say, you attack one of us, you attack all of us. We are communities of faith. We are communities of solidarity. It seems that some in Washington would think that nobody would respond if I'm going to attack a community for no reason. The vast majority of all of the Somali peoples in this country, many in Minnesota, there is no reason. This is a frivolous use of tax dollars because there is nothing to find here except to try to stir up the divisions. So we ask and stand in solidarity, not just with the AME Church, but faith leaders across the state of Minnesota and across this country. Urge your congregations to spend some time in your gatherings for praying not only for our Somali community, but also for all of our communities, to put forward all of the things that we venerate in our faith communities. There's a poem in La Ketch, you are the other me. And if I do harm to you, I do harm to myself. In my own faith tradition, the greatest commandment is to love God above all, and the second is to love our neighbor as ourselves. So let's act on all of those things and use all of the times that we can gather together as faith communities to stand in solidarity and to show that you single out any one of our communities in this heinous way, you're going to get a response from all of our communities. Thank you.
I almost want to clap too. Thank you so much, the people's pastor, Pastor Anthony. Next, it's my honor and privilege to be able to welcome to the podium lovers of justice and champions of peace, members of the Minneapolis City Council and the State Senate.
Hi, my name is Oreen Chowdhury. I'm the council member to the 12th Ward here in Minneapolis, and I stand with my colleagues on the Minneapolis City Council, Council President Elliot Payne and Council Member Jason Chavez, and I stand alongside my state senator, Senator Zaina Mohammed. In Minneapolis, we love our Somali neighbors. We support our Somali neighbors. And what our president is doing right now is to strike fear in our communities, to divide us, to be bigoted, and we're going to turn that hate into love, and we are making a commitment, as we have done year after year, to recognize Somali Heritage Month in the city of Minneapolis in June, as we have done for many years and will continue to do so, and we will celebrate Somali heritage 365 days, and we encourage and we implore cities across the state of Minnesota and across our countries to follow suit with City Hall here in Minneapolis and also recognize Somali Heritage Month. We're also going to take meaningful action to ensure that our immigrant communities have the protection and services that they need, and that's why this budget cycle we will be making meaningful advancements into increasing funding for immigrant legal services.
Thank you so much. It's these same, members of local government and state politics that have helped push for a more equitable and just Minnesota. Next, we have Imam Saifullah from the Northwest Islamic Community Center.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Imam Saifullah Muhammad. That's Saifullah Muhammad. I serve as the resident scholar for the Northwest Islamic Community Center in Plymouth, Minnesota. And I am gathering here today with my colleagues and my friends, my brothers and my sisters, in a moment of deep concern. As our Somali immigrant communities across Minnesota are being attacked. In the recent days, President Donald Trump's statements targeting Somali Americans, combined with intensified ICE raids, are affecting families and our neighbors. They have caused fear, confusion, and actual real harm. As a faith leader who works with immigrants and Somali Americans, I must speak honestly. The words that were spoken by our President, Donald Trump, have real consequences. They shape public attitudes, legitimize hostility, and can embolden those who wish to discriminate against our communities. When the highest office in our nation singles out an entire ethnic and religious community, it places families at real risk. As Minnesotans, we understand why this is happening at this time. We understand what the president is trying to do. This president had pledged when he was coming into office to bring down inflation, lower costs of living, and reduce food prices, issues that affect every household in Minnesota, from Minneapolis to Mankato. Yet, because of the fake promises and not being able to achieve those promises, families are now struggling as more than ever before to afford basic necessities like health care, groceries, rent, and essential goods. And this administration also delivered one of the biggest tax cuts in the recent history to the wealthiest individuals and corporations, while working families continue to feel the squeeze. So when the President of the United States of America decides to attack immigrants, especially the Somali community, Minnesotans recognize what it is for what it is. It's a political distraction meant to shift attention away from the economic promises that remain unfulfilled. But scapegoating immigrants will not lower grocery prices. Demonizing Somalis will not reduce healthcare costs. Blaming vulnerable communities will not fix inflation. Minnesotans deserve real solutions, not fear-based politics. Our Somali community will not be scapegoated. Somali Minnesotans are not outsiders, and let me say that very clearly. They are not a threat. They are our neighbors, they are our co-workers, they are our students, they are our teachers, they are our entrepreneurs, and they are our leaders. They are a vital, beautiful, and inseparable part of the state. Islam teaches us, my own tradition teaches us, the dignity that God has given each human being inherently. God says in the Quran, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Indeed, we have dignified every single child of Adam. So this honor is universal. It applies to every person, regardless of ethnicity, nationality, and immigration status. So I stand with our Somali Americans, our neighbors, in this very tough time, and we are here to support. And as our brother Jailani said, that fear will not divide us. It's going to be love that unifies all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Imam Saifullah. We next have one of our last two speakers, Michelle Gross. And Dr. Nakima Lemigansha.
Good afternoon. My name is Michelle Gross, Michellellegross, and I'm the president of Communities United Against Police Brutality.
Good afternoon. I'm Nakima Levy Armstrong, civil rights attorney and the founder of the Racial Justice Network.
I want to point out something that I think is very important here. First of all, I stand 1,000% with my Somali neighbors. I'm honored to do so, and I will always be there for my neighbors to defend them. But I'm very upset about a comment that was made by our police chief, Brian O'Hara, earlier last month when he vilified Somali youth by blaming them for crime. And when he did that, he set the tone and he enabled the president to call out our Somali neighbors. You know, I think that words have meaning and actions have consequences. And by saying things, making false statements about Somali youth, he has brought down this attack on our Somali community. He has brought this down, and I think that's deeply unfair. Then he gave a half apology where he said, "I'm sorry if you misunderstood what I said," basically blaming the listener rather than the speaker. And I think that's deeply inappropriate, and he owes this community a giant apology, because what he did was he weaponized. He used words that weaponized so that this administration could have an excuse to come into this community and claim that our neighbors are the source of crime, which is a falsehood, and it is not something that we're going to accept. He needs to own what he's done, and for him to come out and just say, well, if the ICE people bother you, call the Minneapolis police. That's not good enough. He needs to make it clear that ICE has no business being in this town, they have no place here, and they are not going to be bothering our community members, harassing our community members. We pay the salary of the Minneapolis police. We don't pay them to protect ICE, we pay them to protect us from ICE. And that's what they need to do. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm here along with Michelle to stand in solidarity with our Somali community against these unwarranted, unjustified, and unconscionable attacks. As a black woman, I know what it's like to be a part of a community that is often stereotyped, demonized, and dehumanized based on the actions of a small number of people. And that's what we see happening here. We see a huge focus on bringing negativity to the Somali community and connecting them to the Feeding Our Future scandal. But what we have to remember is, number one, that was a very, very, very small group of individuals involved in that fraud. They're being held accountable under the law. Many, if not all of them, will face time in prison. But the face of that scandal was actually a white woman named Amy Bach. So I'm going to say the quiet part out loud today. That particular person is who gave access for the scandal to happen in the first place. And yet the focus is on Somali individuals. If it weren't for a white woman opening the door, none of it would have even happened in the first place. So let's be honest here. But we don't hear Donald Trump and ICE and their minions calling out white people who engage in fraud or crime or abuse. And I'm from a community that has unfortunately been impacted as a result of white people's crimes against black people that have gone unrecognized, that have never been addressed, and where we continue to be mistreated and stereotyped, even though our community for decades upon decades have been the ones who have suffered as a result of white privilege, white power, and white supremacy. And the way that ICE is being used right now, it's further leveraging of that abuse of power. So we will not stand for it. We stand in solidarity with our Somali community. When we were calling out the Minneapolis Police Department and other police departments for abuse, we had Jaylani Hussein, who is the executive director of CAIR Minnesota, standing with us. We had now Senator Zainab Mohammed standing with us before she was a senator, calling out abuses against African Americans. And we had many in the Somali community who marched with us and who also understood our plight and our pain and our trauma because of what was beginning to happen in the Somali community regarding police being weaponized against that community. So we stand in solidarity. We're asking Minnesotans to stand in solidarity, to not fall for the lies and the deception, and to understand that this is in fact political. This is about finding distractions to wield and weaponize political power so that people will not focus on the real atrocities, the real fraud, the real waste, the real abuse that has been levied upon American citizens and some of our most vulnerable residents at the hands of the Trump administration. Thank you.
Now we'll take some questions. Jaylani, have you had a chance to speak with local or state Republican leadership here? We've heard a lot from folks in the NFL here. Have you had a chance to converse with the Republican campaign?
No, but I've not had a conversation with Republican leadership, but I did have multiple conversations with Republican Muslims, many of them who have been trying to get the Republican leadership to declare a moral stance. If the president believes that Somali Americans are garbage, do the Republican leadership of the state of Minnesota agree with that? And if they do, they're silent. If they're not, we would have heard from them earlier. This is a moment of moral clarity. If you believe in something, you must stand for what is right. And so we have not heard from them. We know that there are a lot of Somali Americans that voted for the Republican Party. This is not new. They've existed. Many of them are wondering, is this the party that believes that they who voted for them are garbage? And if they're not speaking in this moment, silence is complicit.
And I will add to that I did send an email to our Republican leadership, Lisa Damith, Mark Johnson, and the Democrats as well, asking them to condemn this yesterday morning at 8 a.m. and to come and stand with us at a press conference yesterday at 3 p.m. Today at a press conference, Leader Damith lied and said she did not receive an email from me. I have that email. You all can put that on the record.
And Jaylani, question for you. Do you regret the Abandon Harris campaign that you went about last year? Do you regret that at all?
Absolutely not. The Abandon Biden campaign was about genocide. It was a president who many of us supported, who committed the worst atrocities that we believe in today. This genocide will be one of the darkest stains of this moment. And President Biden, not only did he lose his base, but I personally believe he will go down as probably one of the worst presidents that we have ever had.
Do you support President Trump?
Absolutely not. And in that moment when we were supporting Abandon Biden, our Abandon Biden was not about supporting Trump at all. At all.
I have a thing to say. If you look at our precincts both across Minneapolis in the Ward 8 precincts, Ward 9, Ward 6 precincts, where we have a majority of East African folks, particularly our Somali immigrant community members, you look at those precincts, they went for Kamala Harris. So like there's this myth that sometimes people believe that the Somali and East African community voted for Trump. When you look at the data, that's just not true.
they voted for Kamala. They did not vote for this, so insinuating that is just not fair. So you look at the data, it is very clear that folks did not want any of this to happen. So I just wanted to at least make sure that you look at the data, look at election results, look at the precincts. It is very clear for who folks voted for, and it was not for the president.
Jelani, you've been talking about for a few days that a lot of leaders are getting texts and phone calls about ICE detainments. Can you put any context to how many people are being impacted, what families are seeing? Because we've seen a lot of chatter on social media, and of course we want to make sure we know what's true.
So our office has been receiving calls, and we encourage people to reach out to CAIR Minnesota, Immigrant Law Center, and some of the other organizations, advocates for human rights, and also the other organizations that are on the front lines, COPAL, UNIDOS. There are a number of these organizations that are actually on the ground, Mayorak and others, who are right now have hotlines where people can report ICE, but also at the same time get service and help. So unfortunately, everything is fluid at this moment. We are hearing number of individuals who are U.S. citizens detained, some for a little longer, others for a short period of time. We also know that many people who are afraid to even share the fact that they were detained as an effort to maybe see if there are additional fear. So at this point, it's really hard to say the exact number of how many people either detained, but we definitely know that there are a number of people that have been picked up through this ICE raid. We believe in the dozens at this moment. Right now, it could be a lot more or less, depending on when families reach out to us and we get an accurate number. And also, as we mentioned, this current ICE administration does not provide immediate information about the whereabouts of the individual. And that's something that makes it very difficult for families, because by the time somebody finds out somebody's gone, it may be days or 2 days, and then we may not know exactly where they are, sometimes even longer than that.
Jelani, can you talk about the effect that this has had on the community right now? Because we have seen this effect in other cities where there have been these operations here, and the chilling effect that it's had on certain communities. Can you talk about right now what is going on in the East African community here in Minneapolis and the greater Twin Cities metro?
Well, right now it looks like ICE is hunting down black people. They came here, they're looking for black people. Somali Americans are blacks, they're looking for anybody who looks like that. And here's the interesting thing. I think in this particular junction, what's different is that most of us are actually U.S. citizens. Some of us, majority of us are actually born here. So the likelihood of finding an undocumented Somali is extremely difficult. It's just a reality. They're in the hundreds. So if ICE is here to crack down on immigration, they're not really doing that. They're cracking down on targeting and terrorizing Somali citizens in the United States who now are worried about, should I go get my passport, because that might be the only way to verify that I am a U.S. citizen. So it's extremely disappointing. It's frustrating. Our community is in shock and fear. We've asked folks to be calm. If you are an individual who's experiencing some version of a planned process of your immigration, to reach out to your attorney. If you need an attorney, reach out to organizations like CAIR, and others will help you connect. In this moment, there's an element for ICE to create panic. But we believe if our communities are organized, if our folks who are neighbors understand what the rights are, what you can do, what you cannot do, we empower the community to feel powered. And that's what we're doing right now. So it is extremely frustrating and difficult. But really, this ICE raid, I think, is a lot different than others, because it's really targeting Somali Americans and obviously black people, because that's what it looks like. Obviously, the other immigrant communities, we all live together. So this is really a target on our other immigrant communities as well, many who are also undocumented. And I know they are extremely fearful, because this raid and this pressure from the president to Minnesota and what's happening today, I know many of them have been living in that state, and now they're in a lot more anxious from everything that's happening.
Yeah, I would like to.
Right off the top, parents withholding their kids from schools. Are you hearing that?
We are not recommending any parents to do that, but obviously if folks are concerned about their safety, they should have a plan. Talk to their attorneys, specifically for those who are either undocumented or going through the process. Most importantly, what we are recommending is for people to be alert, to be aware of what's happening around them. At this moment, there's a lot of fear. We definitely know there are a lot of people who are not going shopping to their favorite places. And that's why we're asking for Minnesotans to stand up this time. You probably didn't even know there was a beautiful Somali restaurant or a Hmong restaurant or a Latino restaurant right across your neighborhood. This is the moment you show up. This is the moment you actually realize the values and the incredible things around your neighborhood. This is the moment we stand with each other. And so...
Yeah, actually, at that point I would like to add, we have seen less traffic when it comes to the mosque and Somali grocery owned, and also Somali restaurants. I went 2 nights back, I think, restaurant on Lake Street. I saw only 2 people. It's a popular, well-known restaurant. So we have seen distraction and confusion, and we advise to our community to carry their passport. I myself, I have my passport card, because a mom drop her children to the daycare and some other children to the school. She doesn't need to be held a couple of hours until she proven she's a U.S. citizen. So all of us mandatory, we are carrying our own passport to avoid the distraction and unnecessary targeting by Donald Trump. Yeah, that's what I want to answer. Thank you.
Jaylani, we went to Carmel Mall yesterday, and there's some in the community, despite what the president said, they're encouraging the president to come visit and see, what the Somali community is all about. Can you support that? Do you encourage that as well?
I think the president should have a conversation with Somali Americans. I think he should. And we would welcome any opportunity for him to hear from us. If he's a good deal maker, we'll see if that's even something he's interested in. Because I personally believe that, what he's doing is completely unfair to our community. I don't know if a sambusa, a good, well-made sambusa can cure all that hate, but I, with all respect, I think calling our community garbage and saying the things that he has said, it strikes deep. But I think for people who are saying that, they're saying, come see us. And I think today what we're asking is for Minnesotans who have seen us, this is your time to shine and speak up for our community and denounce the things that are being said about our community, because you are our neighbors. You are the people who know us. Our children play together. We are a community. This is a moment for Minnesotans to tell the truth about this incredible community. And I think that's what's missing, and that's one thing I would encourage to happen.
But I will add that when President Trump was elected, he said that he's going to be the president of all Americans. He did not exclude Somalis. So whether he likes or not, he's still our president.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Council President, say something.
Elliot Payne, Minneapolis City Council President. I stand by our Somali community, and I think in this moment we need to recognize that when our Somali community is getting attacked, we're all getting attacked. And this is an authoritarian regime. And authoritarians are only powerful when the people give them power. And we need to take our power back by standing with our Somali community. And that's exactly why we're here today. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone.